Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope everybody's having a lovely weekend. And yeah, let's run through the charts. Before we get started, please like the video. The algorithm would appreciate it, and I would appreciate it. Let's get into the charts. All right, so we're gonna start off with SPY and QQ's weekly weekly time frame here. I want to point out here we do have increasing buy volume on the week. You got your weekly RSI over there. Your CCI, obviously, it hasn't really been important to us recently. It has not. You do have your stochastic crossing down from here as well. And I do just want to point out the RSI is at the same spot it was at when it was November 2021. We're at all-time highs. That is something to note. Moving over to SPY. All right. SPY, you also have your RSI where we were at in all-time highs. You don't have the bearish divergence, but what I do want to point out over here is you do have your CCI over here at the same spot, pretty much the same spot it was literally right here at the top. All right, it wasn't the exact top, but literally from the close of that weekly candlestick, you did fall a whopping 4% over the following, what is this, 4 weeks? We'll call it 5 weeks, right? And then obviously you went back up and you formed this bearish divergence over here on your RSI, and then boom, you were off the race to the downside and you fell all of 2022. Now, coming over to the daily time frame, I'm going to point out, guys, we are stalling out right at the 0.618 Fibonacci. What do we also have right here? We also have the August high. Let's actually come over here. I think it's right there. All right, so we also do have the August high sitting right here. Oh, that up. There you go, Henry. You got the August high right here. What just happened? Why did my things disappear? All right, come back over here, buddy. There you go, bud. So we're right at the August high. We do have a spinning top candlestick. That was like a massive spinning top candlestick. Holy sweet baby Jesus. You got that off of increasing sell volume. And what do we have? We have the daily RSI all the way up at 66. All right. So we can go up a little higher here. All right. You can, but I'm just going to tell you right now, you're coming into a bunch of technical roadblocks across the board. And it does not look like this thing has a lot of juice left in it. Now, I did just put out the weekly update, so if you are interested in seeing the written version of these videos that we do, and it's a short, consolidated version of it, go check out Weeble, Trader Henry J over there. I also will be posting these to Twitter as well, so feel free to check out my Twitter. All right, I will consistently, keep you up to date over there as well. But yeah, you got that increasing sell volume, so it does suggest sellers are going to be getting their way come Monday. Bring us over to Monday. Let's actually take a look at our economic calendar here. All right, so we have Monday. We have the federal budget coming out. That could be a market mover, but I really think the CPI, the PPI, and the FOMC right here is going to be the market movers of the week. I don't think anything else is really going to be mattering. Guys, you get hot inflation readings. All right, market's not going to like it. You get good inflation readings, market's going to like it. But I'm also going to tell you right now, we have a bunch of technical roadblocks here. And if you do end up coming above the August high, all right, let's just look at this. Your next stop is going to be all the way up here. You do not have other resistance. I guess you can mark out this zone right here as resistance because this is, this is where you bottom over there, which would be, 438 over here. But I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I think it's much more likely that we do end up stalling out here at this August high here, August 2022, that is. And yeah, that's my opinion, all right? But the opinion is derived off of these charts, all right? Now, get rid of that. We're going to take a look over here, all right? So we did get this thing coming out Thursday morning, and boom. In 1 week, guys, you went from 30% all the way up to 44%. And what happened to the bears? The bears capitulated. All right, guys, the crowd is always going to be the loudest at the top, which means the side that's been losing the whole time, they're going to most likely capitulate the most right at the top. I think that's literally exactly what we're seeing here. We're right at these technical roadblocks. And as you see, literally, people are getting bullish. People are getting way less bearish. I'll tell you that much. Now, look at this historical average right here. Guess what? Where was this derived from? Oh, not in a bear market. All right, people could say we're in a new bull market all they want, but I'm going to tell you, I know for a fact we do not have the conditions behind the scene. Support said bull market, and guess what? Guess what? In order to get into a new bull market, you're going to need to see the cycle complete. And as of right now, they can't restart a cycle. But what cycle do I speak of? The QT and QE cycle. But I guess they're really, guys, we haven't really gotten much QT over the past, 20, 30 years or whatever. Not 20, 30. I think it was in... What was it, whenever they debacked the dollar, I think it was 1991. But yeah, they took it off the gold standard. And ever since then, they could do all the QE they ever wanted. And then, you know, .com bubble, they printed out of that one. '08 bubble / crash, printed out of that one. Well, guess what? What happened in 2020? They did the most they've ever done. And that is what supported this bull market. Do we have that going on right now? I'm not going to say there's not QE going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to say that at all, right? I've seen some things showing, you know, evidence of that. But guess what? They can't do what they did over here to literally get the system out of the rut without making this problem a crap ton worse. So what is this problem? The inflationary problem. They will not be able to do so. At least if I'm understanding correctly, that is just going to be the case. They can never do this without something like this. And yeah, we've had this slow decline, but if you really look at their balance sheet, it hasn't really came off that much. You haven't had the most QT. All right, let's look at it this way. You have this balance sheet. I'm not going to pull it up right here, but you guys can go on to the top of my head. I think it's like the Fed. What is it called? It's called like the Fred. Just look up on Google, just Federal Reserve balance sheet, and it should show up like with that site. And you can see a bunch of all of their data on there. All right, but their balance sheet pretty much looks like this: going up, going up, going up, goes down, started going up. All right. So like in the end, they haven't done the most QT in the world. All right. So this was not caused by QT. All right. I don't know. I'm not going to say I know if any of these were caused by QT, but I'm going to tell you right now, I do know this was caused by QE, and we can't do that right now. So this whole new bull market narrative, it's very likely just Fugazi. I'm going to tell you right now, it's Fugazi. And now that brings me over to here. All right. NVIDIA. All right, we're going to look at NVIDIA. We're literally going to take off our CCI. We're going to take off our stochastic. And we're just going to focus on this RSI. All right, what happened over here, guys? So if you guys are over on the Weeble with me, guess what? You know about this, but here you go. All right, you do have the weekly RSI in the same spot that you had during the chip bubble. You had the chip bubble over here, and you now definitely do have a AI bubble. All right, I will tell you guys, AI is pretty dang cool. All right. I'm not going to say I use it on a daily basis. We'll call it a weekly basis. Over the last like month or so, I've been using it. And yeah, it's really freaking cool. And it does, you know, it's a helping hand. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's something that is going to shift you into this new bull market. I don't think AI is going to make it so you don't have to carry out the cycle. So that's just what I'm getting at. All right. So I am going to say, yeah, the narrative is extremely likely all Fugazi, and we are at a bunch of technical roadblocks coming over to Mr. Apple. All right. Oh, that was the wrong tip. Mr. Apple. Guys, you're at all-time highs. Now, what do we also have at all-time highs? We have increasing sell volume at all-time highs. We also do have on the daily time frame, we have a big player very likely selling this thing off. Now, that brings me back over to NVIDIA. We already got that big player likely selling this thing off. It was on this big, you know, fat red stinking day over here. I'm going to take it down to the 4-hour time frame, and I am going to show you, guys, you now have structural damage on the chart. I'm not saying you are going to end up rejecting off this trend line right here. Screw the uptrend. All right, we're not the uptrend, but you know that one. Screw that. We're just going to use this. All right. I'm not saying you are going to continue rejecting off of this and come down and break this low, but if you do end up coming down and breaking this new low here, I think it's you have a like extremely solid chance of you are going to test that gap fill line, which is all the way at let's put this 366.35 on our chart. 366.35. All right, what color should we make it, guys? What color? Here, I will pick for us pink. No, never mind. All of our other things are pink. Let's make you orange. All right, so you have orange. The actual gap fill is all the way down here. I'm not saying we are going to go straight down there. I don't think that is going to become the case, but I will point out over here. All right, I told you guys back over here. Well, I told you guys when we first initially gapped up, I told you we're going to have to wait until people really start selling it. If we get evidence like this, literally this right here, I think that's pretty much what we have over here. It's not as big of a sell day as what we had over here, all right? But yeah, I think that was a big player, very likely selling off their position over here. And now we are getting that structural damage to the chart. As long as you do continue that structural damage, then it is very likely that we are going to start at least becoming range bound down here, at least making our way down. That's all I'm saying. Regardless, guys, I do believe this is one giant bubble. I don't think this thing is going to end up saving the world from the situation that we're in right now. I just don't. I'm not being a perma bear. All right. I am not. Please do not, look at me like that, just realize like, hey, I will come here, and that's my guarantee to you guys. All right, I got no bias. All right, well, at least I do have a bias, but the information that I will give to you will not be biased. All right, if there's something on the chart, guys, I'm gonna let you know about that something on the chart. That brings me up over here. So I was talking to a friend about this. And yes, we're at these technical roadblocks, but guess what? All right, people calling for a crash. I'm just saying, all right, if you do end up coming down here and you end up breaking your 380 low down here that was formed in March over here, then yeah, all right, you got a complete trend change on your hand, and now you have room to go lower. But until that happens, you have no reason to be calling for a crash. All right, in reality, anybody who has been calling for a crash this whole entire time, myself included, all right, I remember up here I was pretty bearish. I remember up here I was pretty big. Well, up here I don't think I was calling for a crash. I do remember calling for a decent decline. But over here, I mean, I'm pretty sure I was still in the perma bear camp, all right? But like, your boy is continuously going to improve here. That's my promise to you guys. Also, my one guarantee to you guys here on this channel is you are going to consistently find actionable insights that you are not going to find in one consolidated place on anywhere else over the interwebs, all right? And that is what I got you with over here on this channel. So join our community and let's have a jolly good time. There we go. But yeah, you have a spinning top candlestick right here on the weekly time frame as well as the daily time frame. Do we have a gravestone doji? Now, it's pretty close to a gravestone doji right there, but we're gonna call that a spinning top candlestick. You got the increasing sell volume. So again, like I said in the beginning of the video, sellers likely get their way on Monday. Now we're going to come over here to QQQ and we're going to point out on the weekly time frame, you do have the increasing buy volume over here. So it does suggest buyers likely get their way. So it doesn't have to go down like that, but how do buyers get their way? They take you over the high of last week, over the last candlestick, or they end up gapping you up. So I am going to be looking for one of those conditions, and until I see one of those conditions, I will be skeptical of downside. But again, we do have the FOMC, we do have the CPI, the PPI. I'm just going to tell you right now, unless they do announce a pause, I really can't, or a pivot. I mean, they can announce a pivot and people would probably, guys, they pivot, all right? Stock market squeezes butts off. I don't know for how long. We can reference that. I don't have time in this video here, but we can reference that maybe in the next weekly update. Just, give me a reminder throughout the week if that is something you guys do want to see. And guys, just letting you know, if you guys do want to see certain things in the video, let me know down in the comment section, all right? This is a channel, like, yeah, obviously I can't fit everything in here. It's just going to take too long. And, people got very short attention spans, myself included. So I can't do that. But let me know if you guys would like to see some critical information. We can review some charts in here, But yeah, guys, across the board, we kind of, we have the tech sector, just, at least in my opinion, this thing looks so tapped out. I don't think this thing is going to go much further. All right, you did already see selling over here on Microsoft, all right, that is pretty similar to where you were rallying your butt off, and then boom, you started getting your first red candlestick over there. You got Meta over here. What's going on there? You have Apple announcing their Vision goggles. I think they're called Vision Pros. That I don't know. All right. Regardless, they got the Vision goggles. It got sold. There you go. All right, guys. So the last thing I am going to bring up is over here on Mr. VIX. You do have your RSI, your weekly RSI, in the same spot we were at over here in. Oh, I marked it on the chart. Nice and neat for you guys. All right. We do have the RSI in the same spot that we were Monday, the 12th of March, 2020 or 2012. Now. All right, now let's go back over and see what happened there. All right, because this is SPX, and guess what? This was in the bull market when they did reintroduce the market to QE, and guess what? You had things behind the scenes supporting an uptrend. Right now, all right, I don't think you do. I really strongly don't think you do. So from the close of that candlestick, all right, you fell 8% over the following 3 months. You fell about 10% over the following 4 months. Boom. All right. And guess what? That was in the bull market. It was not in a bear market. And people can call this a new bull market all they want. But in reality, we do not have evidence supporting that this is going to be a new cycle. And that is all a bull market is. You are like, guys, understand what's going on behind the scenes, and you just won't be tricked by what's going on in the charts. But at the end of the day, we're going to just stick with the charts. All right. And we like to just know what's going on behind the scenes, so we're not falling into the crowd. Now, I will say, all right, the crowd has gotten this one right for quite some time now, all right? You know, your boy didn't think it would take this long that they'd be right. But, again, we've just been following along with the charts here on the channel, so that's that. And again, my bearish bias, I'm not going to let this influence, you know, information that I'm going to be giving to you guys, all right? I'm just letting you know that. Now, actually, before we go back to end the video, before we end the video, I am going to point this out, all right? While we were over here, you gapped up. All right, let me just have a nice, sexy arrow right there. You gapped up. All right, you had your decline. You gapped up over the previous high. You effectively flipped it. I bet if we come down to the 4-hour time frame, you did flip it. Look at that. You came right back down to it. So that did end up happening. What happened here? You had your decline. You gapped up, and you stalled out at resistance. You did not close over resistance. You didn't close over the previous high. Different conditions, guys. All right. What I like to, I got this from Michael Guyad, which is someone I strongly recommend. Like, hey, all right, I'm gonna tell you right now. He's gonna say that, you know, he's called all this and dot dot dot. I'm gonna tell you that's not the case. All right. But what he will do is he'll let you know what's always fundamentally going on behind the scenes. And that is something I appreciate. So if you guys do want to do that, I'll do my best to update you guys over here. But if you guys do want an expert in that field, there you go. All right, what we cover here, I'm not going to call myself an expert, but I will say we are chartist on the channel. There we go. All right, so yeah, with that being said, if you guys would like to join the Discord community, link is down below. Follow me on Twitter, all right, for, you know, just literally, you know, continuous insights over there. And then Webull, guess what? You get the written version of this video right here over on Webull, and that is a daily, and we get the weekly updates 6 out of 7 days a week. So with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.